Welcome back to Sports Beat. Going back into the world of basketball, let's talk about that women's basketball team. They have been quietly impressive in a difficult CAA, but they are doing it with a cast of moving parts. Who has been your MVP so far this year?
David, as Jacayla Brown goes, this Hofstra Pride women's basketball team goes. She has been the facilitator all season long. She's been scoring points, and I think you see it when the Pride are at their best is when Jacayla Brown is at her most efficient. She's going to get her points every single night, no matter how many shots she has to take, but when she's efficient at shooting the basketball, I think the Pride are at their best.
I would have to go with Brown as well. Obviously, last season didn't go the way that Hofstra wanted it to, but this year they've really kind of re-entered the room and reintroduced themselves, so to speak. Jacayla Brown, a big reason why. Team high 16.3 points per game, 3.2 rebounds per game, and she's made improvements in her own game. She's the #1 shot person. She also has stepped up at the free throw line, a 62% shooter last year from the charity stripe. This year, 75.3%, so she's improved her game. She's making others around her better. I got to go with Jacayla Brown.
You both named players, and that was the question, but I have to go with a person, and that is head coach Danielle Santos-Atkinson. This program is being led by her on and off the court.
David, you're over there finding loopholes, but Danielle Santos-Atkinson is out there finding some great recruits, and that's what she's doing to continue to build this program. Rough first season for her, but as she said herself, it's about growing and building a program, and that's exactly what she's doing. You've seen dramatic improvements this year as she started to bring in her own players. This is a Pride team that is interested. This is a Pride team that tries hard every single night, and you see it on every possession.
Yeah, like Will said, this wasn't a one-year thing for Coach Santos-Atkinson, and I mean, a question for you actually, but I mean, it's a pretty easy one. 6 is a much bigger number than 0, right? The Hofstra Pride they look so much better than last year. They really struggled last year, but she's got them playing in close games. She's got them buying into the system. She also, in their first year, they go from 0 wins to 6 in the CAA, so it's not like they're making short little gains. They've really grown in leaps and bounds. I think they might even be able to make some noise in the CAA tournament this year. So I love the job that Coach Danielle Santos-Atkinson has done, and I think that this program really has a bright future ahead of it.
This isn't Sesame Street, but 6 is the magic number, and 6 is how many wins the Pride have this season. That's a pretty good number for the women's basketball team, but can it translate to a postseason victory for the Pride?
I think the Pride are a true middle-of-the-pack team. They beat the teams below them, and they've struggled against the teams above them, but I think they still have that upset potential because they've been competitive in most of their games, in most of their losses. They've had that competition. It's come down to the very end. I think this Pride team can win a couple games in the NCAA tournament, or in the CAA tournament, and make some noise.
I think they can as well, and if I was in Vegas, I wouldn't necessarily bet on it, but I think this is a team that can surprise some people in the CAA tournament. I could definitely see them winning a game or two. When they played teams in back-to-back games this year, they oftentimes looked competitive in both matchups, so you get a bounce to go your way here or there. Hofstra could very easily squeak out a win, or maybe even 2.
But this isn't a one-season project, as you both mentioned. This is about the future, and just how bright is the future of this program?
I think it's very bright, David. Remember, they're doing this without Sorelli Neza and Selma Markasik, who are both out for the rest of the season. Those are 2 guards who were expected to see a ton of playing time. I think as they come back, that will make the team even stronger next year. And I think this team can be competing for a CAA title in the next few years.
So I want to keep it within the window of Jacayla Brown because we mentioned her as the team's MVP. Next year is her senior year. I could absolutely see the Hofstra Pride getting even better next year. You get Sorelli Neza back. Jacayla Brown improves. Coach DSA gets better as a coach. Coaches improve with experience as well. I think this is a team that could win half their CAA games next year and really, really be competitive moving forward.
Tommy, you've got your glasses on. I left mine at home. But if I'm going to put my glasses on and look 3 years into the future, hypothetically, and you compare the 2 basketball teams that we've talked about, the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team, it's going to be tough for me to say that the men's basketball team in 3 years will be better than the women's basketball team. I think the future of this program is oh so bright.